The crowd's roar was deafening. 60,000 alien spectators packed the massive coliseum, their multiple eyes gleaming with bloodlust. Betting pools had already closed. The odds? 1,000 to 1 against a human. Ladies and gentlemen of the Zephyrian Empire. The announcer's voice boomed through bioacoustic amplifiers. Tonight we present the most anticipated execution in galactic history. Maya Chen adjusted her breathing, rolled her shoulders, and cracked her knuckles. The sound echoed through her holding cell like gunshots. She had been locked in this cramped metal box for 3 hours, listening to the crowd's mounting excitement. They wanted a show. Oh! She would give them a show, all right. In the red corner, the announcer continued, his voice dripping with theatrical malice, we have the apex predator of Kepler Prime, standing 12 feet tall, weighing 800 pounds of pure muscle and fury. The undefeated champion with 47 kills, to his name Vex the Destroyer. The arena floor trembled as massive gates opened. Vex emerged like a nightmare given flesh. His obsidian exoskeleton gleamed under the harsh arena lights. For arms, each ending in razor-sharp claws, flexed with predatory grace. His mandibles clicked together in anticipation, and his compound eyes focused on the opposite gate with mechanical precision. The crowd exploded in approval. Vex raised all 4 arms, basking in their adoration. He had never lost, never even been wounded. 47 different species had fallen before his claws. Tonight would make it 48. And in the blue corner, the announcer's voice took on a mocking tone. The pathetic creature that dared insult our emperor's honor. The soft-skinned, weak-boned, single-hearted human. Maya Chen. The crowd's cheers turned to laughter and jeers. Maya's gait began to rise with a metallic screech. She stepped forward, and the arena fell into confused silence. She was smaller than they expected. 5 feet 6 inches of seemingly fragile humanity. No visible weapons. No armor. Just a standard prison jumpsuit and bare feet. The betting pool should have been 1,000,000 to 1. Vex's mandibles spread in what passed for a grin among his species. This would be over in seconds. Maya walked to the center of the arena, her movements casual, almost bored. She looked up at the Emperor's royal box, with a massive blue-skinned ruler watched with 4 eyes filled with anticipation. Your Imperial Majesty, Maya called out, her voice carrying clearly through the arena's acoustics. Before we begin this little dance, I have one question. The Emperor leaned forward, intrigued despite himself. No condemned prisoner had ever addressed him directly. When I finish turning your champion into paste, Maya continued conversationally, and when I walk out of here covered in his blood, what exactly are you going to tell your subject about the superiority of alien species? The crowd gasped. The Emperor's face cycled through several colors before settling on deep purple with rage. You dare, the Emperor roared. Vex! Tear her apart slowly. Vex needed no encouragement. He charged forward with incredible speed, all 4 claws extended. Maya didn't move until the last possible second. Then she smiled. The first claw whistled through empty air where her head had been. Maya had dropped into a crouch, spun, and swept Vex's legs. For a creature his size and weight, the move shouldn't have worked. But Maya had studied the recording of his previous fights. She knew exactly how he distributed his weight during a charge. Vex crashed to the arena floor with a sound like a building collapse. The crowd fell silent. Rule number 1, Maya said, dusting off her hands. Never underestimate a species that conquered its own planet before reaching for the stars. Vex rolled to his feet with surprising agility, his compound eyes now focused with deadly intensity. He approached more carefully this time, using his reach advantage to probe with quick jabs. Maya danced between his strikes, her movement fluid and precise. Each near miss brought gasps from the crowd. How was something so small and weak avoiding the fastest predator in known space? Rule number 2, Maya continued, deflecting a claw strike with her forearm and wincing slightly. Humans are the only species crazed enough to hunt megafauna with pointed sticks. We've been killing things bigger and stronger than us for 200,000 years. Vex's strikes became more frenzied. One claw caught Maya's shoulder, tearing through fabric and skin. Blood flowed, and the crowd cheered. Maya looked at the wound, then at Vex, then threw back her head and laughed. "Oh, you magnificent bastard," she said with genuine appreciation. "You actually drew first blood. That hasn't happened in quite some time." The laughter died from her lips. Her eyes went cold. My turn. What happened next would be debated in alien sports bars for generations. Maya didn't just attack. She exploded into motion. Her first strike, a simple jab, shattered one of Vex's compound eyes. Her second, an uppercut, cracked his mandible. Her third, the crowd watched in stunned horror as the human began systematically dismantling their champion. Every strike was precise, targeted, devastating. She moved like violence incarnate, her attacks flowing into each other with balletic grace. Vex tried to retreat, to use his reach, to call upon decades of fighting experience. Nothing worked. The human was always where he didn't expect, striking where he couldn't defend, moving faster than something with only 2 legs should be able to move. "Rule number 3, Maya said, catching one of Vex's claws and twisting until the joint popped. "Humans are persistence predators. We don't just kill our prey. We chase it until it collapses from exhaustion. We follow it for days, weeks if necessary, never stopping, never giving up. We are the thing that goes bump in the night for every other species in the galaxy." Vex's remaining eyes widened in what might have been the first fear he had ever experienced. This wasn't a fight. This was an execution. His execution. Maya grabbed 2 of his claws, planted her foot against his thorax, and pulled. The wet tearing sound echoed through the silent arena as she ripped both arms from their sockets. Vex's scream was unlike anything the crowd had ever heard. It was the sound of an apex predator realizing it had become prey. "Rule number 4, Maya said, tossing the severed arms aside like discarded tools. "Never, ever threaten a human's family." The Emperor's voice crackled through the arena speakers. "What are you talking about? Human? This is about your insult to our honor." Maya looked up at the royal box, her face spattered with Vex blue blood. "Honor?" she laughed bitterly. "You kidnapped my daughter, a 7-year-old girl. You took her from Earth and brought her here as a slave. This isn't about honor, your Imperial Majesty. This is about what happens when you take a child from her mother." The crowd murmured uncertainly. This wasn't what they had been told. Maya turned back to Vex, who was trying to crawl away on his remaining 2 arms. She walked after him with unhurried steps. "The funny thing is," she continued conversationally, "I try to do this the diplomatic way. I filed requests through proper channels. I petitioned your courts. I even offer myself in exchange for her freedom. But you wanted entertainment. You wanted to show the galaxy what happens to humans who dare question alien authority." She reached down and grabbed Vex by what passed for his neck. 14 minutes, she said, checking the arena's massive chronometer. "That's how long your champion lasted against one angry human mother." The sound of Vex's spine snapping was like a tree branch breaking in a storm. His body went limp instantly. Maya dropped the corpse and turned to face the Emperor's box. The arena was so quiet that her footsteps echoed like thunder. "Now then, your Imperial Majesty," she said, her voice carrying clearly to every corner of the Colosseum. "About my daughter." The Emperor's face had gone pale blue. Around him, his advisors whispered frantically. "You were supposed to die," he stammered. Maya's smile was sharp enough to cut glass. "Sorry to disappoint you. But here's the thing about humans, your Majesty. We're remarkably hard to kill. And when you threaten our children," she gestured to Vex's broken corpse, "we become something far worse than your nightmares." The arena gates remained sealed. Guards surrounded the fighting floor, their weapons trained on the lone human figure standing amid the carnage. But none of them moved. None of them dared. Maya looked around at the thousands of alien faces staring down at her. Fear, confusion, and something else flickered in their expressions. Respect, perhaps, or recognition of something they had never seen before, a human mother's love weaponized. "I have 46 minutes left on your little timer," Maya said, wiping Vex's blood from her hands. "Plenty of time to discuss terms. Unless, of course, you'd like to send down another champion?" The silence stretched on. In the royal box, the Emperor's advisors continued their frantic whispering. In the stands, 60,000 spectators held their collective breath. Maya sat down on Vex's corpse, crossed her legs, and waited. The chronometer continued its relentless countdown. 45 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. She had all the time in the galaxy. After all, Warligogoth Emperor's voice finally broke the suffocating silence. Guards, eliminate the human immediately. 24 heavily armed Zephyrian soldiers rappelled into the arena, their plasma rifles charged and ready. Maya didn't even bother to stand up from her makeshift throne of Vex corpse. Really? She called up to the royal box, her voice dripping with amusement. This is your grand strategy? Send more bodies for me to stack? The lead guard, a scarred veteran named Crix, raised his weapon. Surrender, human, and your death will be quick. Maya tilted her head thoughtfully. You know what, Crix? I appreciate the offer. I really do, but I have a better idea. She stood up slowly, stretching like she had just woken from a pleasant nap. The guards tensed, fingers hovering over triggers. How about this instead? Maya continued conversationally. You all put down your weapons, walk away, and pretend this never happened. In return, I won't turn you into decorative wall art like your champion here. Crix's mandibles clicked in what passed for laughter among his species. You are outnumbered 24-1. Human, your luck has run out. Luck? Maya's eyebrows shot up. Oh, sweetheart, you think what happened to Vex was luck? She gestured to the broken corpse. That wasn't luck. That was a Tuesday morning workout for a species that spent millennia perfecting the art of murder. You see, while your people were evolving pretty carapaces and intimidating size, humans were developing something far more dangerous. And what's that? Crix snarled. Maya's smile turned predatory. Creativity and violence. The first guard to fire missed by inches. Maya had already moved, rolling behind Vex corpse for cover. Plasma bolts sizzled through the air where she had been standing. 43 minutes remaining. Maya shouted over the weapon's fire. You're burning daylight, boys. She grabbed one of Vex's severed arms and hurled it with impossible accuracy. The improvised projectile struck Crix in the chest, sending him sprawling. His rifle clattered away across the arena floor. Rule number 5. Maya called out, vaulting over a cover and sprinting toward the nearest group of guards. Humans are tool users. Everything is a weapon if you're creative enough. What followed was less a battle than a masterclass in applied violence. Maya moved to the guards like a force of nature, using their own weapons against them, turned their formations into traps, exploiting every weakness in their armor and tactics. She caught a plasma rifle midair as a guard stumbled, spun, and fired in one fluid motion. 3 guards dropped instantly. She rolled under another volley, came up with a combat knife from a fallen soldier, and demonstrated why humans have been the terror of Earth's battlefields for centuries. The thing about your military training, Maya said, slashing through a guard's weapon harness and sending him tumbling into his comrades, is that it assumes your enemy follows the same rules you do. She ducked a swing from an energy club, grabbed the wielder's wrist, and broke it with a sharp twist. Humans don't follow rules in a fight. We make them up as we go along. The crowd watched in horrified fascination as their elite guards fell one by one. Some fled. Others tried to regroup. All failed. Maya stood amid a field of groaning, broken soldiers, not even breathing hard. She looked up at the Emperor's box, where the massive ruler was now standing and gesticulating frantically at his remaining advisors. 38 minutes left, Your Imperial Majesty, she called out cheerfully. Still want to discuss this the hard way? The arena's main gates suddenly burst open. A new figure strode onto the blood-soaked sand, General Thane, the Emperor's personal champion and the most feared warrior in the Zephyrian military. Unlike Vex biological weaponry, Thane was cybernetically enhanced, more machine than flesh. Energy weapons were built into his arms, armor plating covered every vital point, and his tactical computer gave him superhuman reflexes. Impressive display, human. Thane's voice was a mechanical rasp. But playtime is over. Maya looked him up and down appreciatively. Now this is more like it. Finally, someone who takes me seriously. I have studied your species extensively, Thane continued, weapon systems humming to life. I know your weaknesses. Your soft flesh, your single heart, Your pathetically fragile bones. Did your research include why my species conquered a death world? Maya asked, beginning to circle the cyborg general. Did it mention that Earth tried to kill us every single day for millions of years, and we just got angry and killed it back? Thane's response was a barrage of energy bolts that turned the sand to glass where Maya had been standing. She was already moving, weaving between shots with inhuman grace. Your research, she continued, her voice steady despite the deadly light show around her, probably told you that humans are weak, slow, and fragile compared to other species. She rolled behind the wreckage of a guard shield generator. But I bet it didn't tell you the most important thing about humanity. Which is what? Thane demanded, advancing with mechanical precision. Maya popped up from cover, holding something in her hand. Thane's tactical computer identified it as a standard plasma grenade pulled from a fallen guard's belt. We're the species that learned to split atoms for fun, Maya said conversationally. She pulled the pin. Thane's optical sensors registered the threat, calculated the blast radius, and determined he had exactly 2.7 seconds to reach minimum safe distance. His enhanced legs propelled him backward with superhuman speed. Maya counted to 2, then threw the grenade not at Thane, but at the arena's main structural support beam directly above the royal box. The explosion was magnificent. The reinforced beam, already stressed by the arena's massive weight, cracked like an eggshell. A section of the royal box collapsed and showered debris and screaming dignitaries. Through the dust and chaos, Maya heard the most beautiful sound in the galaxy, a child's voice calling, "Mama." A small figure broke free from a fleeing crowd in the royal section. Maya Chen, 7 years old, dirty and frightened but very much alive, was running toward the arena floor. "Emma?" Maya's voice cracked with emotion for the first time. She sprinted toward her daughter, all tactical considerations forgotten. That was when Thane made his mistake. He fired at the running child. Maya's scream of rage was barely human. She changed direction in mid-stride, intercepting the energy bolt meant for her daughter. The blast caught her in the shoulder, spinning her around and sending her crashing to the sand. "Mama!" Emma screamed. Maya pushed herself up on one arm, her left shoulder smoking from the plasma burn. She looked at Thane with eyes that held the fury of every human parent who had ever lost a child to violence. "You just made the biggest mistake in your species' evolutionary history," she said quietly. "What happened next transcended violence and entered the realm of mythic retribution." Maya moved like death incarnate, her maternal rage transforming her from skilled fighter into something that belonged to humanity's darkest legends. She tore through Thane's defenses like they were made of paper. His tactical computer couldn't process her attack patterns. His weapons couldn't track her movement. His armor couldn't withstand the focused fury of a human mother protecting her young. Maya grabbed his head in both hands and twisted. The sound of his cybernetic neck breaking was like a power cable snapping. 26 minutes remaining, she said, dropping Thane's body. She walked to where Emma cowered behind a piece of debris and knelt down. "Hey, baby girl," she said softly, all the violence draining from her voice. "I'm sorry Mama took so long to find you." Emma threw herself into her mother's arms, sobbing. Maya held her tight, ignoring the pain in her shoulder. Above them, the Emperor's voice rang out through damaged speakers. "Enough! I surrender. I surrender." Maya looked up at what remained of the royal box. The Emperor was standing amid the wreckage, his royal robes torn and his multiple arms raised in surrender. "Smart choice," Maya called back. "Now, about those terms I mentioned. What do you want?" the Emperor asked, his voice barely concealing his terror. Maya stood up, lifting Emma in her good arm. "First, you're going to arrange immediate transport back to Earth for me and my daughter. No delays, no complications, no last-minute surprises." "Agreed," the Emperor said quickly. "Second," Maya continued, her voice carrying to every corner of the arena, "you're going to issue a galaxy-wide proclamation. Any alien government that kidnaps, enslaves, or harms human children will have to deal with Earth directly. And I promise you, Your Imperial Majesty, they will not enjoy that conversation." The Emperor's face cycled through several colors before settling on a sickly green. The humans would go to war over their offspring. Maya's laugh was cold as space. Your Imperial Majesty, we've gone to war for much less. We once fought a conflict that lasted 6 years because someone killed an archduke most of us had never heard of. What do you think we'll do to protect our children? The proclamation will be issued immediately, the Emperor said hastily. Third and finally, Maya said, her voice taking on a conversational tone that somehow made it more terrifying. You're going to tell everyone exactly what happened here today. Not some sanitized version. The truth, that one human mother walked into your grand arena and broke your champion's spine in 14 minutes. That she dismantled your elite guards. That she killed your greatest general. And that she did it all to save her daughter. But the implications, one of the Emperor's surviving advisors protested. If other species learn what humans are capable of, then maybe they'll think twice before messing with us. Maya finished. She looked around the arena at the thousands of alien faces staring down at her in stunned silence. Consider it a public service announcement. She began walking toward the main exit, Emma still in her arms. The crowd parted before her like she was carrying a plague. Oh, and your Imperial Majesty? Maya called over her shoulder. Yes? The Emperor's voice was barely a whisper. The next time someone tells you that humans are weak, soft, or harmless, Maya's smile was visible even from the royal box. Remember that we're the species that looked at the most dangerous predators on our world and decided they'd make good pets. We domesticated wolves. We ride creatures that weigh 2,000 pounds. We swim with sharks for fun. She paused at the arena exit. We're not angry because we're weak, Your Imperial Majesty. We're dangerous because we care. And there's nothing in this galaxy more terrifying than a human who has something to protect. The arena doors closed behind them with a sound like thunder. Maya Chen and her daughter disappeared into the labyrinthine passages beneath the Colosseum, leaving behind a legend that would spread across the stars. In the royal box, the Emperor slumped at his damaged throne. Around him, his advisors whispered frantically about damage control, diplomatic implications, and military preparations. But the Emperor wasn't listening. He was thinking about a small, soft creature that had just redefined what it meant to be apex predator in a galaxy full of monsters. Somewhere in the depths of space, Earth continued its ancient rotation, blissfully unaware that one of his daughters had just announced humanity's true nature to the cosmos. They would not remain unaware for long. The age of human expansion was about to begin.